Yeah, nigga, return that goddamn dresser. That shit is haunted. It got 15 spirits in that bitch. Oh, what's good, Lockdown Cruisy Boy Lock? Man, we back with some more reactions. We're coming at y'all with a chilling scares video. A little dark in here. Gotta set the tones, but we're doing 6 most disturbing Reddit threads. Let's get to it.
On September 29th, 2022, Reddit user Liz Gillies made a desperate post in the Glitch in the Matrix
I ain't do a scary video in I don't know how long, bro.
subreddit reading, "I am losing my mind. I was never one to believe in the paranormal or whatever, but I have no idea what is going on with me right now, and I'm genuinely considering seeking professional help. I live in a really small shared dorm apartment with 2 roommates. There's this hallway that if you face it, there are 2 bedrooms to your right, 1 bedroom to your left, and a closet at the end of the hallway facing you. The bedroom on the left is right next to the bedroom to your left, and a closet at the end of the hallway facing you. The bedroom on the left is right next to the closet. When we moved in, my roommate always complained that they got a closet instead of a bathroom like me and my other roommate had in our rooms. This closet has a bunch of our shared stuff, including my clothes, gifts, keepsakes."
Nah, that's bad, bro. I don't know if y'all ever live in like college houses or whatever, but I lived in one when I moved straight out of high school. Moved out at 18, bro. We had 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom. Worst shit ever, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Living with 4 different niggas, not it, gang. I'm never the kind of nigga to do that again unless it's a mansion or some shit. But bro, yeah, that would have pissed me off. My roommates got bathrooms and they shit, and we all some fucking college students living in college dorms. Nigga, why the fuck I ain't got a bathroom, nigga?
Sakes, whatever. Today I got back from visiting my parents and I came back to put away some clothes from this closet, but I opened it and saw a bathroom. A bathroom with a toilet, a shower, and everything. I was only gone for 2 days and we rent this place, so it couldn't have been randomly built or something. I told my roommates, but they said it was always a bathroom and they had no idea what I was talking about. I can't find any of the stuff that was in
Mandela
that
effect
closet anymore, even though I had a ton of memorable keepsakes in that closet. What is going on?
Either this person is losing their marbles or this is like some Mandela effect type shit.
I spent all day just sulking in my room feeling miserable.
Yo, this dead look like how the college beds look too.
Was a closet just 3 days ago. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I'm genuinely considering seeing a psychologist right now. Now, as far as Glitch in the Matrix stories go, this is exactly the kind of story the subreddit is filled with, where one person has a strange experience where it felt like reality briefly malfunctioned. And because they can't really prove what they saw, the people in this community find it easier to land on the explanation that feels more comfortable, that it wasn't an errant perception, but rather some kind of slip in reality itself. But even by those standards,
slip in reality
felt strange, because the OP wasn't trying to sell anyone on alternate realities. In fact, they opened the post by clarifying that they didn't believe in such theories and were already considering seeing a professional. And that self-awareness is exactly what made the details so unsettling. Unlike most posts on the subreddit, which usually revolve around much smaller incidents, like a small object disappearing for a moment before reappearing.
Yo, that's deep, bro. If a person really going to seek help, they genuinely think like, damn, I'm bugging the fuck out right now.
Or a split-second change in perception, OP experienced an entire part of their apartment structurally change while they were away for 2 days. But even more strangely, nobody else seemed to remember the building being any different.
And what the fuck was in this bathroom? Was it like decorated and shit?
Naturally,
yeah, that's weird.
Comments started trying to help the OP figure out what happened. Some leaned into the idea that if the apartment had somehow changed, then maybe the missing keepsakes hadn't disappeared, they'd just been moved somewhere else. While others suggested checking old photos of the apartment, looking for anything that could confirm whether that space was ever listed or used as a closet in the first place. However, because of the nature of this subreddit, it didn't take long for the thread to devolve into paranormal speculation. Users floated everything from alternate universes, timeline jumps, to quantum immortality. Some even suggested that OP might have—
Nigga, we is not in the Marvel universe.
That their consciousness had somehow jumped into a different timeline. At one point, the OP actually tried following some of the bizarre advice they were getting to make any sense of the situation, but sadly, none of it seemed to work. For a while, it really did start to feel like there was no explanation, like OP had genuinely experienced some kind of time glitch. However, the reality behind the scenes—
I ain't gonna lie, I think this person tweaking the fuck out right now. It gotta be some explanation behind this one, bro. Cause for you to go and move into a place and see a closet and then all of a sudden it's a fucking bathroom, either you was on some goddamn pills or some other shit, or you was on some like, I don't even know, bro. Uh, I ain't got nothing for this one.
Situation was a lot more simple and a lot more devastating. Shortly after the post went up, a user named OddCorgi30 asked the OP what kind of items had actually been stored inside the mysteriously vanished closet. But instead of naming specific keepsakes or valuables, the OP answered vaguely, almost like they didn't fully know what even was inside. I don't know, some clothes, old Christmas gifts, jewelry, some other stuff I can't remember. This was strange, but it didn't prove anything on its own. Most people would struggle to list every item in their closet. However, in this case, those missing items were the main proof OP had that.
And then Reddit, bro, you gotta watch out for motherfuckers capping, bro. Like, you in this Reddit thread typing and shit. Give me updates on the psychological help you're seeing, just so I can see if you're like a piece of shit or not, you know?
The closet ever existed. So, if their memory of the contents was already vague, then naturally it raises questions about the larger memory attached to those contents too. It's
What the fuck am I
OP's
doing?
mind had built an entire memory around something that never existed in the first place. Memory distortion to this scale, where someone is convinced an entire physical space has changed, can be an early sign of neurological deterioration, including conditions like dementia. But at the time, nobody in the thread considered that possibility.
That's what I think, bro. You got some kind of early signs of dementia. There's something going on up there.
Instead, the comments just pushed the OP deeper into the idea that what they were experiencing was real. People started sharing their own glitch in the matrix stories, reinforcing the belief that nothing was wrong with the OP and what they were experiencing was, in a way, normal. Some even went as far as to say that seeing a professional was not only unnecessary but harmful. Then, roughly
You see, that is bad advice.
2 weeks later, the OP.
That's bad advice if, like, I feel like people only saying that out of being like, oh, they gonna make you take all kind of drugs and all kind of other shit. But, and again, bro, a fucking bathroom doesn't spawn out of nowhere. That makes no sense, bro. That's just my opinion.
He edited the post with one short sentence. Edit, October 15th.
Oh.
I have a brain tumor. Suddenly, everything the commenters had attributed to a glitch started looking like the symptoms of a life-threatening medical condition.
Damn.
The OP never shared what type of tumor they had. But brain tumors are well documented to cause memory distortion, hallucinations, confusion, and changes in perception. And
damn.
depending on where the tumor is located, they can also interfere with spatial awareness and the brain's ability to process physical environments.
That's scary, bro.
Which means that the most likely explanation is that the OP's brain had created or altered a memory so convincingly that it completely overrode what was actually in front of them. It's possible
yo, all these
live somewhere with a closet in a similar
dead
location.
ass though. This is how our shit was, bro. Rooms right next to each other.
Was actually
beds kind of similar.
It's possible that,
and then every door had like these numbers and shit, and they kind of counted it as your room being your unit, which is kind of, it's fucking stupid because nigga, if your roommate's in that bitch smoking hotboxing a goddamn house, you gonna get hit with that fine no matter if it's in your room or if it's not your room, bro.
Once lived somewhere with a closet in a similar location, and their brain merged that old memory with the apartment they were currently living in. But the most unsettling part is that we'll probably never know for sure, because the OP never gave another update, and their Reddit activity appears to have stopped completely after that edit. And considering the average survival rate of some brain tumors among adults is only 14.6 months, there's a very real possibility that they are no longer alive. If that's true, then this thread may have documented one of the final moments of someone slowly losing their grip on reality.
Damn.
Thousands of strangers online convinced them that it was the universe glitching around them.
I'm praying that's not the case, bro.
On December 28th, 2025, a Reddit post was made under the title, "Please help, random bare feet in snow showing up in front yard. It rained and snowed all day yesterday, so I decided to check out the backyard. I looked down and there are bare feet trackings around and near my car. I double checked it wasn't my slippers, but this was pure bare feet showing. We decided to set out a camera in the yard overnight. When we woke up, there was even more footprints, but nothing on the camera. Throughout the morning and afternoon,
You got a ghost bear in that bitch.
About an hour ago, there was one more, but it was hard to tell since the snow is melting and there was a bunch of footprints to begin with." Alongside this, the LP posted several pictures of the prints. At first, a lot of people in the
Dog, this is not a bear. What are we talking about?
Comments treated the situation like a strange but explainable.
It's not no
with
bear.
some suggesting that one of the people in the house may have been sleepwalking. Others told the OP to check for a carbon monoxide leak, stating, "Check your house for carbon monoxide. One of the residents, including you, could be doing this and not remembering due to carbon monoxide poisoning." An exposure like that can cause hallucinations and memory gaps, which might explain why someone in the house was walking outside barefoot with no recollection of doing it. But a few hours later, the OP posted an update, and what they shared made the situation even more bizarre. They confirmed that
Talk to
nobody
me.
in the house sleepwalks, and that none of them had even been barefoot outside since August, so the prints couldn't have come from any of them. More importantly, after the first set of tracks appeared, they moved their Ring doorbell camera from the front of the house to the backyard, hoping it would catch whoever was responsible. But according to the OP, that didn't happen. Friday night, we moved the Ring doorbell camera that was at the front of the house to the backyard to catch the person who was walking around barefoot. The morning of Saturday, I go outside and there are even more prints now. Checked the camera and there was not a person detected and I did not see anybody. Even though the quality isn't great, I would definitely be able to see a grown man or a grown woman walking in our yard.
Now you see if you got some heavy ass prints like this. Now you dealing with a motherfucking ghost, boy. You dealing with some spirits. You gotta go ahead and bless that house right now.
The OP also posted.
That's kind of nerve wracking. That's kind of scary, bro. Like that's some detailed human prints.
And the more they described the prints, the stranger the whole situation became. These weren't normal tracks from someone walking across a yard. The spacing was unusual and inconsistent, without the steady rhythm you'd expect from a person moving through the snow. Some of the prints were clustered near the car, while others were facing the house, close to the windows, as if someone had been standing there looking in. But none of them seemed to lead anywhere in and out of the property. Now, because this was posted to a paranormal subreddit...
Yeah, niggas dropping pictures of ghosts and shit. Shit like that made me think this shit be hoaxes though, bro. I'm not gonna even lie. Like, I feel like a lot of these motherfuckers get on Reddit and try to just farm stories to get engagement. Am I wrong for thinking that? I don't know. These bitches still be good though to watch. These bitches still be entertaining though. But keep it going.
The discussion went exactly where you'd expect. People brought up spirits, skinwalkers,
fucking skinwalker,
and mythical creatures.
The OP, this nigga said a wisp walker.
Spirits, skinwalkers.
What the hell is that?
And mythical creatures. The OP, though, to their credit, didn't seem fully committed to the paranormal explanation. They admitted that they only turned to r/paranormal encounters after the camera failed to capture anybody moving through the yard, which may not have been the mystery they thought it was. But the subreddit's framing steered them away from the most realistic explanation. As the top comment under the first post suggested, "Someone is scouting your house. Time to invest in security cameras and lights." And another commenter who claimed to be a reformed burglar explained why the person decided to do it barefoot. "As a reformed bad guy, they're casing your place or probably a peeping Tom. I would take my shoes off when in and put them back on when out." The thing is, shoe soles leave identifiable treads that can be matched in an investigation. But bare feet or feet covered only by socks are far harder to trace back to anyone. So the fact that the person was barefoot may not have been random, but an intentional choice. And because
I don't know if y'all ever had y'all feet in some bare snow or like ice. That shit is cold as shit, dog. So I don't know. Walking around barefoot, I can't see no like nigga just doing that. They trying to scout your house or some shit. Like, I don't know. A crackhead, not a bad guess. We keep it a buck, but I don't know.
The OP never mentioned contacting the police. Whoever was outside realized they could keep coming.
You gotta get you a gun, bro. You gotta get you guns for shit like this.
Presented another possibility that was a lot more terrifying.
Whoa.
Oh.
What's that? I just built a budgeting app with
advertisements. We meet again.
Google Hinterkaifeck. For those
Hinterkaifeck.
Familiar, the Hinterkaifeck murders are one of the most notorious unsolved cases in German history. In 1922, a farmer in Bavaria discovered fresh footprints in the snow leading to his farmstead, but none leading away. Days later, all 6 members of the house...
Yo, I don't know what it is, bro, but these be normal ass pictures, but these bitches be looking haunted as shit. Like, look at this nigga on the left, gang. Why are you looking at me like you just deviant, like, I don't know, you possessed, gang? And then the females just look like they in a cult, bro.
Were found dead. Investigators later determined that the killer had been hiding inside the home, possibly for days before the attack. Even though the relevance of this...
Now, you see, that wouldn't be, like, shocking. Like, if a motherfucker just scouting in your house, like, I heard people having niggas living in their attic for months and not even knowing that a nigga was in my fucking attic for this long. So, could be the nigga was going outside, maybe trying to see if you got some shit in your whip. And then he slide back up to the attic or some shit. Or he couldn't get in the pantry because y'all niggas was up in the kitchen. So he gonna see if you got some, like, some fucking chips in your whip or some shit. I don't fucking know. That wouldn't surprise me.
Example to OP's situation.
There's a lot of crazy niggas out here,
The
bro.
possibility alone is enough to make the footprints feel much more dangerous. But the connections likely aren't true. For starters, the Hinterkaifeck footprints led toward the home and stopped because the killer had gone inside and never left. The OP's prints told a different story entirely. There was no trail leading in or out, and nothing inside the home had been disturbed. More importantly, the Hinterkaifeck murders happened within days of the farmers first noticing the footprints. OP's situation had been repeating over multiple nights with no escalation, so the case doesn't actually share much beyond the snow. Now, as for the camera capturing nothing, that part is far easier to explain than the OP seemed to think. Looking into the Ring doorbell camera the OP was using, you find that it doesn't record continuously. It only begins recording after its motion sensor is triggered, and there's a well-documented delay between detection and the actual start of the footage. Numerous Ring users have reported their cameras consistently missing people approaching and only capturing them walking away, if at all. On top of that, the motion sensor...
That's not good. That could be bad.
Can shut down for up to 30 minutes between detections. So when you factor in snow, cold weather, possible weak Wi-Fi, and a doorbell camera that had just been moved from its normal position to the backyard, it starts to make sense why the intruder was never caught on camera, which is probably also why the footprints suddenly stopped by the third day. And weeks later, when it snowed again, OP confirmed that no new prints appeared. So whoever it was had been watching closely enough to notice...
So this is their house right here, the mobile home?
The house was no longer worth the risk. We will likely never know what exactly their intentions were.
Might be the neighborhood junkie, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
On August 2nd, 2014, Reddit user Stev Goldhound made a chilling post that immediately caught the platform's attention. Seriously creepy. A picture of a man with an axe on a decommissioned military brigade being broken up for scrap. Must read. The post linked to an Imgur gallery where the person told the full story and shared the image. As I've said in previous posts, I work at sea. Last month, we came into dry dock to carry out refit and repairs. Dry dock is when a ship is brought into a lock, the gates closed, and all the water pumped out, leaving the ship high and dry on the blocks, thus allowing repairs/inspections, etc. of the underside of the hull. Next to us was an old military...
Yo, I don't know what it is, but like just how this nigga just walking around this big ass boat. I don't know, bro. Like being around large ass like machinery like that. Like imagine I'm doing this with a cruise ship and I'm building a fucking cruise ship. I just don't like being around like big ass fucking objects like that. Imagine I'm working on a torpedo fucking rocket or some shit. That shit will probably be a cool ass job. You probably getting good ass money. But I don't know, bro. It's just somebody like give me like a feeling like I don't want to be around this big ass piece of machinery. Maybe I'm just bugging the fuck out, thinking about that shit too hard, but I always been like that, bro. This big ass boat just on this brick. Like, what did this bitch just fall on your stupid ass?
Next to us was an old military frigate being broken down for scrap. She had arrived about 2 weeks prior to us. Once the frigate was on the blocks and dry, all the crew left and the old girl to her fate. A sad sight, but that's how these things go.
Wait, what happened?
Scrap, the underside of the hull. Next to us was an old military frigate being broken down for scrap. She had arrived about 2 weeks prior to us. Once the frigate was on the blocks and dry, all the crew left and the old girl to her fate. A sad sight, but that's how these things go. Once all the sensitive stuff had been removed, the dock workers were free to go on. The dock foreman, John, went on board first with a camera to take pictures of work areas. He took a couple of hundred all in all.
Oh no, we about to see a ghost.
One of them.
Oh no. This shit look kind of scary, bro, but this could easily be the employee. Let's be real. This bald ass nigga, bro, I done worked a couple blue collar jobs. You look like these niggas that be chain smoking 10 cigarettes an hour. But at the same time, nigga, if I'm just in a boat by my motherfucking self, a big ass ship taking photos, and you just in that bitch, I'm gonna be scared regardless.
The image showed a narrow corridor inside the ship, but right near the edge of that flash and barely visible in the shadows, there was a figure peeking from the corner, and in his hand he appeared to be holding an axe. OP went on to explain how John had been moving through the ship. He later sent all of the pics to his boss, who upon seeing this one, called John straight away asking, "Who is the guy with the axe at the edge of the camera flash?" John had no idea. He never saw anyone. The area where this
is actually creeping me out now.
Deep inside the ship. He was going around with a torch and a camera. When he'd go to take a picture, he would turn off the torch, snap the shot, turn the torch back on, and be on his way. This means when John took this photo, he was standing completely blind in the middle of a decommissioned warship with nothing but the split-second flash of his camera between him and whoever was in that doorway.
Nah.
Mentioned that because the vessel was military, a police search was called immediately. A search was carried.
Nah, what are you walking around in a ship by yourself? You by yourself, bro. How much am I getting paid to do this? And then I turn the torch off. Then I flash, and a nigga just holding that motherfucking hat. Oh no!
Carried out, but no one was found. There was one way on and off the ship, and that was by a gangway covered by CCTV. You couldn't jump over the side as it was a 25-meter drop onto concrete. No one was seen to leave the ship after John had taken this. Once the post reached Reddit, users started enhancing the image, adjusting the brightness and contrast levels to pull more detail out of the shadows. The clearer version wasn't enough to identify exactly who it was, but it made it unmistakably clear that it was a human, leaving no chance of dismissing it as a random piece of machinery or an unusual shadow. What was harder to explain, though, was the face. It looked almost featureless, with no visible eyes reflecting the flash, and skin that seemed gray and waxy, like it was made of plastic. But for most people in the thread, the answer was simple, but still quite unsettling.
This is pretty eerie, bro.
A hobo who was startled that someone was in his home taking pictures, so he grabbed an axe and peeked around a corner to see what was up. An axe hobo is still scary. Now, considering the setting, this theory isn't exactly impossible. Some commenters later identified the ship as the HMS Cornwall, a former Royal Navy Type 22 frigate that was being scrapped around that time. These ships are massive, and by the time they're being dismantled, they're full of stripped rooms, dark passageways, and partially open compartments, which is exactly the kind of place a homeless person could wander into. A user who claimed to have served on a submarine backed this theory up, saying naval vessels are full of hidden gaps and tight sections large enough to crawl through or move across without being detected. So, the fact that police didn't find anyone after searching the vessel may simply mean that whoever was in there either slipped out before the search started or knew the ship better than the people looking for him. But this theory only works if the photo itself is real. As with most internet mysteries that get this much attention, some users were
nevertheless, it's still creepy as shit, bro.
Pointed out that the figure could have
I'm gonna keep it a buck.
In a mask, photoshopped, or even a CPR dummy propped up in the corridor. But there are still a few details that make the story hard to dismiss completely. For starters, according to the OP, John was an old-school steelworker who used a Nokia 3210 as his personal phone. Not exactly the type of person who would Photoshop images for internet attention. And secondly, one user ran the photo through a forensic analysis tool, and they didn't find any obvious signs of digital editing. Of course, that still doesn't rule out the possibility that the scene was staged in front of the camera, which leaves only two realistic explanations.
Either it was a worker, or it was a fucking homeless man in there, bro.
Either someone in the dockyard created an extremely convincing hoax, or John unknowingly photographed a real person hiding inside the abandoned warship. If that second theory is true,
come on, bro, get this nigga off
was close enough to be caught by the flash, it also means he could have been close enough to reach John before he could run to safety.
Get this nigga off
in a pitch-black corridor, John would have had no idea someone was moving toward him until it was already too late.
It's creepy, bro.
18th,
I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Reddit user
that one was kind of creepy.
Post with the title, "Someone on Facebook thrift page found this chilling message in some old drawers." Attached were two images of a drawer that had apparently been bought from a thrift store. The first one showed a message written inside the drawer, "The truth is under." And the second image showed the underside of that same drawer, where another message...
Yeah, nigga, return that goddamn dresser. That shit is haunted. It got 15 spirits in that bitch. I'm done, bro. The body lies in some fucking coordinates? Yo, gang, you got me fucked up, nigga.
The body lies at. followed by a set of GPS coordinates. Now, the first reaction most people had was that this was some kind of joke. Just someone writing a disturbing message on...
Joke, no joke, bro. I don't play with shit like that, bro. It's some haunted shit or shit that got like some darkness around it, bro. I'm sending that shit on his way, bro.
An old piece of furniture to scare whoever eventually found it.
And I don't even be
later.
believing like
In
that
fact,
Ouija
multiple
shit and all
people in
that
the
shit,
comments
but
admitted doing the same when they
that
were
shit could
younger.
bring
I did
bad
that once as a
spirits in your
kid.
shit.
I wrote, "Don't look for the body under the apple tree in the backyard. You'll find more than you bargained for." I used to do dumb things like this as a kid, hoping people would find it later. So, under normal circumstances, a post like this probably would have been dismissed within minutes as another creepy internet hoax. But when people started plugging the coordinates into Google Maps, instead of leading to some random empty field or suburban backyard, the location felt way too specific to ignore. The coordinates pointed directly
Lord.
to the Avon Park Air Force Range, which is a massive military training ground in central Florida that spans more than 100,000 acres. At first, a few Florida users talked about going there to see what was actually at the location.
It's always
However,
Florida.
those plans fell apart immediately after a user who owned property just north of the pinned spot recognized the area and warned everyone to stay away. I own recreational property just north of that location. As someone else mentioned, the pinned location is inside the Avon Park Bombing Range, or MacDill AFB. We ride our four-wheelers down to the very southeast end of the property and watch them do bombing runs. Aside from trespassing on a military installation, you do not want to go trekking out there.
Bro, who goes out to shit like rural ass areas just to watch shit like that, bro? I get it. But bro, that's how niggas be getting caught lacking, bro. Why are we in the woods? And then you finding dumping bodies places and shit. Come on, bro. Stay around people. Even if I get me a big ass house, bro, I'm not living in no country. I gotta have me a neighbor or two, bro.
Lots of unexploded ordnance. According to this user, the area was a live bombing range, surrounded by restricted land.
Yo, imagine they dropped a fucking bomb on her ass.
Ordnance, which are undetonated military
That would be
explosives.
tragic.
So even if someone nearby wanted to check it, this wasn't a place a civilian could simply walk into with a shovel, which is actually what made the whole thing so disturbing. If this was a hoax, then the location was almost too perfect and specific. And a bombing range is also an almost perfect place to actually hide a body. Nobody goes there, and the ground is already so torn up from years of explosives that fresh digging would blend right in. And any remains left near an active target zone could eventually be destroyed by ordnance, causing the evidence to erase itself over time. This theory was
Imagine you the
supported by
killer and you
other
dumping a
comments,
fucking
pointing out
body and
how
they
easy
drop
it
a
would be for
bomb on your
someone with
stupid
military
ass.
access to move through
And
the
now
area
you're
without
going to hell.
jurisdiction. If the killer worked there, they would have access, and it's not like the gate guards would be searching their car. There would be some camera evidence, but when you've been there for some
Yo, what is this backroom shit? Is this like the military base?
time, you know your way around and where the
Shit looks
blind
like back
spots are.
rooms.
Besides, the specific location is in a remote part that's probably rarely driven past, if at all. Even with all these possibilities floating around, nothing was more unsettling than the coordinates themselves. They weren't just rough directions to a vague area. They were written out specifically to 6 decimal points.
Right.
According to GIS standard, this narrows a location down to roughly 0.11 meters, which is precise enough to mark the exact position of a single human grave. So, while the hoax theory still sounds the most reasonable, it's also strange to imagine someone going that far
Somebody has to go dig that up.
just to scare a stranger buying old furniture. Eventually, the post gained
You still
enough
gotta
traction
return that
that people
furniture,
began
though.
contacting law enforcement. According to an update shared by the OP, a friend of theirs contacted the Polk County Sheriff's Office, only to find out the homicide detective had already been alerted by someone else earlier that same day. But a second update revealed that the situation became complicated almost immediately because the coordinates landed on military property. Since the location sat near the boundary between Polk County and Highlands County, there was confusion over which department actually had jurisdiction over the area. However, even without that dispute, neither department could simply drive
Just do something.
out there and start digging.
It
The
don't
area was
matter,
part
just
of an
do
active
something.
Air Force bombing range, so they needed military authorization before anyone could safely enter the site. The OP ended the update by saying they would return with more information once investigators looked into it. But that update never came, and the last activity under that thread dates back to over 6 years ago. Searching through local reporting and public records from both Polk and Highlands County doesn't bring up any evidence that a search was ever officially carried out at the coordinates. And with no concrete evidence of any criminal activity, the more likely possibility is still that someone simply wrote the message in the drawer as a joke and was designed well enough to drag both the internet and the police into the same mystery.
Yeah.
But until someone physically goes to the location and checks firsthand, we will never know for sure. On July 20th, 2021, Reddit user ProlapseThis posted to the investigative subreddit RBL.
That was recent.
Police didn't investigate, and it's been bothering me. At around 8:30, 8:45, I arrived home from a quick trip to town to grab a beer. As I got out of my car, I could hear something.
Ooh, they got a video of this motherfucker.
I thought for a moment that I'd left the TV on and was hearing it from outside, but as I walked to the front of my car and pressed the lock button on my remote, I realized that what I was hearing was screaming. I listened for a second, thinking it was somebody screwing around, but then the woman's voice screamed, "No, stop, you're hurting me, you're killing me," and an adult male voice yelling something I couldn't make out. There was a dog barking from the same direction, as well as a repeated thudding noise. I immediately dialed 911.
Let me ask y'all this, people in the comments. Y'all hear some shit like that? What y'all doing? Y'all gonna run in? Get over! Or y'all gonna call 911? Keep it a buck, bruh. 911. I will get on that phone with you. I'll stay around and help as best as I could. But I'm not going in there guns blazing. I'm sorry. That shit crazy.
And told the police. They could even hear the screaming in the background.
Now, if I know him, maybe it's a different story. Like if it's a neighbor or some shit.
And none came. I watched for them on my security cameras. The screaming was coming from directly where the camera is pointed, but more than 50 feet away across a narrow field. There is a small shack that has a couple of cars, usually parked at the road just on the other side of the field. It is bothering me a lot.
Yo, I hope I don't get canceled saying that. Did I say the right shit, bro? Because, nigga, I'm not going running there and try to save somebody that I don't fucking know. I'm just keeping it 100. Am I a piece of shit? Maybe. But, bro, this nigga can have a gun, blick, and all that shit. Nigga, I ain't got no gun. Nigga, I'm lacking right now.
Since I'm 41 years old,
or maybe I want you to think that. I don't know.
So disturbing in real life. The OP also attached a Dropbox link containing 2 clips from his security cameras. One of them shows him standing outside while on the phone with 911, and in the background, a scream can clearly be heard.
Out at Rocky Fork Lake. I'm not real sure the address. I'm at my home.
The second clip came from a backyard camera pointed toward the narrow field and the small shack beyond it. And although a lot of the audio is buried beneath the outdoor AC unit,
that's definitely a scream.
Went on for several minutes without stopping. Since the OP lived in a rural area, some of the first comments suggested the sounds could have come from a wild animal, especially a fox, since foxes are known for screams that can sound disturbingly human, but the OP rejected that idea immediately. While I've never heard a fox screaming, "Stop it, you're killing me,"
hey, them foxes do be like screaming on some shit.
For a fox. Some users tried finding less disturbing explanations, with one user suggesting the screams could have come from a TV playing a horror movie. It is creepy.
Nigga, you ain't got no goddamn surround sound movie theater speakers doing that shit that fucking loud, bro. Come on. Whoever said that shit sound dumb as fuck, bro? I'm sorry.
It could possibly be from a movie, or I don't know, any chance something could be being filmed in the area, so like this was acting.
Yeah, shut your ass up, nigga.
Specific film they thought was playing. But when you factor in the dog barking and the repeated thuds coming from the same direction as the screams, the situation felt a lot more like someone was being hurt.
I think it's the movie Tales, or whatever the fuck they said. Like, bro, that sound retarded, bro. Come on, bro.
In the background. Eventually, most commenters arrived at the same unsettling conclusion. Whatever the OP recorded was most likely a domestic violence situation happening somewhere inside or around that shack, which is exactly what made the police response feel so disturbing. According to the OP, the dispatcher could hear the screaming during the call, and yet no officer came by that night. Even when he followed up the next morning.
What? Followed up the next morning? Yo, as a cop, how do you like... Did these niggas like be like, nah, I'm not messing with that? Because, bro, that's literally what you signed up for and sworn to do. Showed up an hour late. That is insane.
He still wasn't checked, and the only clear instruction he received was not to trespass or he'd be cited. Unsurprisingly, this didn't sit right with the commenters. A lot of them began speculating that the police may have already known more about the property or the people living there than they were letting on. 100%, because they know who it was, and it was a coworker slash family member slash friend. This is why they didn't respond.
Nah, that could have been a valid, like, this like a small town, bro. Them niggas protect the fuck out they own. I could see this, bro. Not that whoever said that shit's smart. That's a smart thread right there.
Immediately, which at the time seemed like the most disturbing theory. And with the OP now explicitly warned by police not to investigate the property himself, the thread slowly went quiet for several weeks. Until September 7th, when he came back with an update. I guess they finally had a reason to go out and check the property I was trying to tell them to look at. There are sheriff's cars all over the place, and cops in gloves walking in and out of this garage, and one cop throwing up in the front yard.
Oh,
The update heavily implied
yeah, it's a
that
body.
something horrific had finally been discovered at the property after all, but it still didn't explain exactly what had happened. And without another follow-up, the thread once again fell back into uncertainty.
What?
Fortunately, 5 months later, that uncertainty ended in the worst possible way. On February 7th, 2022, OP finally returned to the subreddit with a follow-up post. I posted last year about coming home and hearing a female voice screaming for her life. I posted a video with the audio of the scream and got plenty of comments. About 2 months later, the house it was coming from had sheriff's cars all around it. I found out that an elderly man had taken his life via gunshot and that his son was the only person home and the person who reported that his father had taken his life. Fast forward to last week, I was sitting at home watching YouTube when I heard gunshots. I live in the country and that's common, so I didn't think anything of it. Turns out it was the sound of that son murdering his mother. He was trying to claim self-defense, but he's being charged with murder. I live next door and my security cameras caught the audio of the murder.
How you carry on knowing that you did some dumbass shit like that? To the person that gave birth to you. Nothing really makes you that's fucked up, dog.
It also captures the vehicle the son made his getaway in. I've had detectives in and out gathering video footage for the past week. His son was 40-year-old Tim Johnson II.
Look at this nigga. And bro, I live in Louisiana, bro. You see a million different niggas that look like this. So it's really like, nigga, anybody is capable of being fucked up in the head, gang. Like, he just looked like he's a regular middle-aged man that you would see with a wife and kid. I mean, obviously right here, he looks fucked up. You look fucked up. And you are fucked up. You look fucked up, bro. You probably still was living with your mama and shit at 44 years old, bro.
According to reports, on the night of January 29th, 2022, Tim contacted the Clermont County Sheriff's Office and told them that his mother, 61-year-old Stephanie Cheney, had taken her life. But when Highland County deputies arrived, the evidence of the scene...
And these niggas be bad as hell at covering their tracks, bro. Bro, they have forensic evidence. Nigga, you ain't watched Dexter? You fucking Nimrod?
Didn't support that story. There were multiple bullet holes in the front of the house that appeared to have been fired from inside, with shell casings near Stephanie's body and a loaded firearm magazine sitting next to the coffee table in the living room. So, when investigators questioned Tim under pressure, he confessed to murdering his mother, claiming he did it because he felt threatened by her for always carrying a pistol in her purse. Tim was arrested and later sentenced to 15 years to life. But knowing all of this now places the original Redditor sentenced to 15 years to life.
15 years to life. Yo. He murdered his mother. What the fuck? And I'm not even that kind of nigga to bring up like real life shit. But I'm sure y'all heard about the Carmelo Anthony shit. They gave bro 35 to killing the kid. What y'all think? I don't know. I feel like this is more egregious. Like, sometimes we gotta start throwing the book at these niggas, bro. He killed his mother. In her own house, gang. What are we doing?
Knowing all of this now places the original Reddit post
15 to life, bro. That shit sound like he could get off on parole. What?
much darker light. The woman screaming, "You're hurting me, you're killing me," that night in July 2021 was almost certainly Stephanie Chaney, and the man whose voice the OP couldn't quite make out was most likely her own son. Which means that recording may have captured only a small piece of a much larger and troubling pattern of violence inside that home, one that would eventually leave both parents dead within 6 months of each other. And when you factor in that Tim later tried to stage his mother's murder as self-inflicted, it becomes harder to ignore the possibility surrounding his father's death months earlier, which had also been ruled as self-inflicted at the time. Even OP himself pointed this out in his follow-up update. This is a family annihilation.
Nah, he's sick as fuck.
Looking at him for the murder of his father as well. But the most tragic part is how preventable all of this looks in hindsight. If local police had taken OP's reports seriously and responded properly, lives may have been saved.
It's a ripple
On
effect.
May 25th, 2021, this image was posted by Anxious Phase 4140 in the
Oh, nah. Nah, gang. She dead hiding from this nigga, bro. Yo, I'm scared of this picture.
subreddit Morbid Reality. The image shows a woman crouched beneath the roof edge, pressing herself as far into the corner as she can with a phone held to her ear. And just behind her, climbing over the other side of the roof, is a man. The title of the post explained the context. This terrifying photo reveals the moment a woman climbed onto her roof to hide from home intruder, only for him to appear behind her. The reactions in the comments were exactly what you'd expect. But the more people looked at the image, the more unsettling the situation became. Because burglars usually avoid confrontation. If someone inside the house notices them and starts running, the logical move is to take the opportunity to escape before police arrive. Yet, this man made a conscious decision to follow her.
Yo, I hate, like, if you breaking in houses, gang, you gonna get caught, bro. Should I still mask up my ass, bro? I live in Louisiana. You gonna get fucking shot doing that shit. So just don't. Everybody got a Ring camera, bro. What are we doing?
One of the top comments on the Reddit thread pointed to, if someone breaking into your house is this determined, they're not just there for your possessions. And that suspicion only got worse when several users...
This nigga would not be up here if he wanted some shit out the house. This nigga looks like he's insane. He's uncanny. He look like he got a big ass shiesty mask on him, and like he got fucking extra mask just hanging right here. Oh, did I mute it?
Holding something that looked like a knife. The image wasn't clear enough to confirm what it was. But when people eventually tracked down the full story behind the photo, the details turned out to be just as disturbing as everyone feared. The incident happened in September of 2014 in Venice, Los Angeles, and the woman in the image was identified as actress Melora Rivera. Melora had been home alone and asleep when the break-in started. According to reports, she woke up after the intruder shattered part of her...
Yo, all these people was outside her shit, and this nigga was still trying to get her?
According to
Yo.
reports, she woke up after the intruder shattered part of her front door and reached through the opening to unlock it from the inside.
Once I saw him in the house, I knew that we both couldn't be there. I knew that I didn't.
It's a good sign she right here talking about it.
With him of any sort, you know, not knowing
Great
what
sign.
his intention was.
The moment she realized someone was inside the house, Melora grabbed their phone and climbed out of the second-story window, hiding herself beneath the edge of the roof to call 911. But while she was still on the phone with the dispatcher, the intruder followed her out through the same window. At that point, Melora was trapped. The drop from the roof was over 20 feet, which was far too high to jump without risking serious
He
injury.
probably was listening
So
for
her only option
us.
was to stay completely still and hope that the intruder wouldn't come around to her side before the police arrived. Fortunately, officers arrived within 2 minutes and were eventually able to talk the man
real
into surrendering
fast.
on the roof, while firefighters brought Melora down.
Yeah,
in
this
minutes,
nigga's
were
a
eventually
this nigga on some junkie shit. LA junkie.
able to talk the man into surrendering on the roof, while firefighters brought Melora down safely using a ladder. The intruder was identified as 29-year-old Christian Hicks, and the
You dirty bitch.
people who knew the neighborhood immediately recognized him as a homeless man who was often seen in the area. When investigators pulled his record, it became clear that this wasn't his first violent encounter with the law. He had 2 prior convictions, one in 2008 for carrying a loaded, unregistered handgun, and another in 2011 for inflicting injury on a spouse or partner. But even with that history, it still didn't answer why he had chosen Melora's house specifically. there was nothing suggesting he had any personal connection to her before that morning. The only clue for why he ended up at her house came from what happened earlier that morning. According to reports, Christian had already been detained that same morning after a neighbor saw him wandering through someone else's yard around 7:30 a.m.
You got detained that same day? You just on bullshit. You just on bullshit.
When the police detained him, the caller refused to identify him in person, and officers were legally forced to release him. Looking at both incidents side by side, several reports described Christian as mentally ill and behaving unpredictably in the hours leading up to the break-in, which means...
Yo, and it's sad that they just be letting people, like, not get the real help they need. If they check into shit like that, it could be multiple things like insurance or anything like that. Can't cover the cost of that shit. But, bro, we can't just be having motherfuckers just out walking free. That's fucked up in the head, bro. It's a liability.
Was likely never the actual target. By the time Christian reached her house, he was already drifting through the neighborhood.
Yo, this GTA 5 right here.
Stable state without any clear destination or reason. Melora may have simply been the unlucky person whose home he entered once that spiral reached its worst point. And once he got inside, whatever state he was in pushed him to keep following her, even after she climbed onto the roof trying to escape. Fortunately, though, she made it off that roof unharmed. But it's hard not to imagine how much worse that morning could have become if police hadn't arrived in time.
W chilling scares. Yo, let me know if y'all want me to keep tapping in with these scary videos. The brain's tumor story is one of the most terrifying things I've ever heard. Imagine genuinely believing a room changing places and realizing your own mind is betraying you. Dead ass, bro. That's one of the most... This one and the fucking the cruise ship one. Not cruise ship, the work ship. Those two was like genuinely kind of terrifying. The first one did not have me in the first half. Got me in the second half though. First one is a lesson how paranormal shit can be potentially engaging. Oh, you experience a glitch in the Matrix? Don't see a professional. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said, bro. Who the fuck is gonna tell you not to fucking see a professional? Of course, Redditors are mentally unwell to tell a person not to seek help because it's a glitch in the Matrix. My girlfriend kind of bothers me. Reddit, seek help. I'm seeing demons on my walls. Oh wow, concerning. Updated when it gets worse. Nah, facts. W chillin' scares, bro. Y'all like this video, man? Like the video, sub up. It's boy Lock, man. Join the lockdown crew, sub up, bro. Be your boy, man. We out.
I'm getting this cash. I'm getting this shit real fast. I'm leaving you niggas in the past. These diamonds on my ring, they flash.
Hey, got a new bitch than that.